Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to be doing a brief stock analysis for Tesla and just get it out of the way. This is not going to be any kind of deep dive into the financials, but more so me giving my outlook for the company as well as the industry. And the first thing I want to talk about, and probably the most exciting thing, is that the $25,000 future Tesla car was recently announced. Not officially announced, but just announced that it's in the works. And it will probably start production in a little over 3 years, and you probably won't be able to buy it for 4 years, which is a little bit disappointing for the timeline, but it's still an extremely exciting announcement. And this is so exciting for me because it will really open up a couple of international markets such as Brazil and India. Right now, they could open a factory in either of those companies, but it wouldn't really be too practical. It's certain that they would sell some cars to the upper class there, but really the vast majority of people wouldn't be able to afford the $60,000 cars that they currently have. So a $25,000 car would be a perfect fit for those lower markets. And then just aside from the new $25,000 car, it's really exciting that they are wanting to expand into the new global markets with the current building of the Berlin factory. The Shanghai factory already opened. I think future factories, as I already mentioned, are going to be in Brazil and India. Those are almost for sure things. I think other potential factories are in New York State, here in the United States, possibly one in Canada, with them just ordering Walmart Canada ordering over 100 semi-trucks. I think that Canada would be an excellent market for Tesla. Also, with Elon's South African roots, that's a potential possibility. Australia is a potential possibility. Japan is kind of a no-brainer, except for they already have really cheap and reliable cars in Japan, so that kind of has to be taken into account. But there's so many different opportunities all over the world for Tesla to open new factories, and I'm sure they will be doing all of these ideas probably all within the next 10 to 12 years. Anyways, sorry about that little rant about the factories. I just thought it was important because I think it's really important to the company and their future growth, their long-term growth. But anyways, in the last year, it's up 764%, which you really only see with tiny companies. So it's incredible that Tesla's been able to grow as quickly as it has, with the stock currently being at $420. And then even in the last 5 years, you're only seeing a difference of 716%. So you really see that all of that changes from the last year. And if you look at their annual earnings for the last 4 years, you see negative earnings but rapidly increasing revenues. But then if you look at quarter over quarter for the last 4 quarters, you do see positive earnings, with Q1 and Q2 of 2020 just being slightly positive, but positive nonetheless, which is a large reason that Tesla, the stock has been skyrocketing in recent months. Next up, I want to talk about a few points by the bears and the bulls by analysts at Morningstar. The first point here, positive point, is that Tesla has the potential to change the world with long-range electric vehicle technology, as well as what they're doing with autopilot. And I would argue that they're really doing the best in both of those arenas. In the tech world, they're the industry leader with electric vehicles in pretty much every arena. And they're also going into semi-trucks, which is really not been done yet, as well as autopilot. There's really nobody except for maybe Waymo that's competing directly against them, and Waymo's really way smaller and doesn't have nearly as much data, tested data, as Tesla does. And then the next point is the cost advantage of recharging over gasoline is significant. So if you're thinking about getting a new car and a $60,000 Tesla is way too expensive, as it is for most people, even if you bought that $60,000 car, unless you get a really high interest rate on it, it's eventually going to end up paying itself off over the lifetime of that car, compared to if you were to buy a $20,000 or $25,000 car, which there's a major gap in price there, but it is going to eventually end up paying itself off if you do drive as much as the average person. And then it says, furthermore, the instant torque of electric vehicles makes them fun to drive, which doesn't seem like a big point, but it's definitely helped Tesla thus far. They get all kind of press because of the acceleration, that instant acceleration you feel when you step on the gas, or I guess the pedal, not the gas in this situation. And then lastly, this is probably the weakest positive point, just because superchargers aren't available to everyone, but it's improving every year. It gets better and better, but its unique supercharger network makes Tesla the only automaker directly to try to alleviate the range anxiety of buying an electric vehicle. So a lot of people worried about if they buy one, it's going to be a nightmare on a road trip. And right now, it's not fantastic, depending on where you want to go. A lot of states, it's great. You have supercharged superchargers all over the place, but say if I wanted to travel a few hours in New Hampshire, the state I live in, it's going to be a little bit of trouble. And then a few points by the bears. The first one is investing in Tesla carries tremendous uncertainty, which I would go ahead and disagree with, unless Elon has health problems or one of their major factories burns down. I would say growth for Tesla is pretty much inevitable. And then the next point is the acquisition of SolarCity and Elon Musk's recent erratic behaviors as uncertainty. And that's another thing I kind of wanted to touch on, is that the acquisition of SolarCity is really fantastic. I think it's going to kind of move solar in a way that it really hasn't been before. They're making it cheaper than it's ever been. So they're really going to look to bring it to more homes in America than was ever possible. And then Elon's recent erratic behaviors, that could be talking about a number of things, but in my opinion, it's all been very innovative and pretty great, even if the timeline isn't the best. And then the last one is that mass EV adoption by consumers could be many more years away than Tesla expects, which is somewhat possible. Maybe Tesla's done really, really well on the West Coast here in the United States, but it doesn't quite do as well in Texas. But as Elon says, even if it doesn't do amazing in Texas, they're still going to be able to ship cars to the East Coast as well as the Midwest from that Austin factory much, much easier than shipping them all the way from the West Coast. And that's still possible that there's going to be some markets that just don't take to electric vehicles like Tesla expects them to, but I think overall on a global scale, they're going to do fantastic. And then other companies are kind of hopping on the train as well. You've got Audi, BMW, GM, and Mercedes that are no longer ignoring EVs, but none of them are even close to, on any of the metrics as Tesla with their technology, their scale, production, anything. And then lastly, I just wanted to take a look at their research report overview from Morningstar, which they gave it a 1 out of 5 stars, and they would probably give it 0 stars if they could, and that's mostly because they gave it a fair value of $195, and it's currently trading at $420, which is somewhat fair, but investors are just so sure of how innovative they are that it doesn't necessarily need to make sense on paper with their book value, what the actual share price is. I think they're going to continue to expand, and eventually the book value will make a little bit more sense, but it doesn't make sense to traditional investors right now. Uncertainty very high. I disagree with that. Economic moat, disagree with that as well. I would even go far as to say they're developing a wide economic moat with their technology. And then stewardship standard. I guess you could say that, but I think Elon is a fantastic CEO. And other than that, I guess their stewardship is pretty standard. I guess I don't know a ton about it otherwise. Well, thank you so much for watching. I know I just kind of touched on some random things, so be sure to let me know anything you thought about down below, or let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be sure to get back to you. I have tons of other brief stock analysis videos on my channel, so be sure to come and check that out if you did enjoy this one. And thank you so much for watching to the end.